Alright, so I've got this front piece braced up so I can cut here and frame out without this moving. So if I cut this, I don't want this shifting back and forth or anything. So we got a brace in here. Also had a couple bad spots on the frame here that I notched out, and we'll go make some new pieces and weld those in, both in the same spot on each side. Tried gobbing it up with the welder, but it just blasts through it like it's tissue paper. So we got a little piece here we can go trace. The other side's a little less intact, but should be able to make it work. Fill in the holes, weld it up. Alright, we've got these corners marked out where I'm going to make a couple of cuts. One along the bottom and one here at the front of the roof, so I can extend this out, I don't know, about a foot. Set this up to remind me to tape off the windows, and I forget anyways. Oh well, we're not quite welding over top of the windows yet. I might have a little spatter on there, but no, we're looking good. Yes, molten metal hitting glass is obviously a bad thing, so we're gonna mask off the windows before welding out any farther. Okay, I didn't feel like wasting a whole bunch of tin foil to cover the window, and the standard brown paper, masking paper will just burn, so I just taped the whole thing up. This blue tape, I don't know if I got the wrong stuff, but this stuff sucks. It doesn't stick to itself, so it's peeling up everywhere. It's wherever it's overlapping. So I'm going over it with some duct tape, which actually seems to be working. That should, the tape's thick enough, it should block any, you know, slag from sticking to the window. There's a roll and a half. I've gone over this edge with a wire brush or a wire wheel on my drill, which has pulled up a lot of the adhesive, the gunk. It sticks to the wheel pretty good actually, and every quarter section I had to stop and go burn it off with a propane torch, but that worked pretty good. And now I'm going over it with some acetone and getting the remaining adhesive so I can don't have to worry about contaminating the welds at this edge. Just a couple adjustments to make on the bottom bar. The roof turned out perfect. Bottom bar, I need to cut the top tacks and then tap it down on one side. It is off by 1/2 inch. Measure 17 inches over here, and I think this was like almost 17, I can't remember. It needs to come down a little bit in this corner. So we'll cut 2 tacks, then tap tap, and then we'll be good to add in some more framework. We need to finish the front part of this, but let's cut some tacks and make everything all square. And I also need to finish framing out the roof. Gotta cut three pieces there. I'm actually happy with how that turned out. I was thinking that was going to be a whole lot worse trying to do all that right there. So anyway, it's hot. I'm going in for a break. Water break. Almost forgot to document this sore, or this accident. Piece of metal popped out of my hand when I was pushing on the grinder. Jammed my thumb right into the grinding wheel. Actually ground it flat. I was wearing my gloves, but they're missing the, they're all worn out and the tips were all tattered, and I just snipped the tips of the fingers off. And yeah, those gloves went right in the garbage after that. No more taking chances. Those were full of holes anyway. But yeah, that's finally, that happened a day and a half ago. Okay, we got this bar clamped on to keep this piece straight with the wall. This bar is getting clamped on to keep this piece straight with the first piece, which is already welded in. So all these pieces are at the same angle. Just lining this up right here. Right now it's already looking perfect, but just in case it wants to wiggle, we'll clamp this on. Do the same thing we're gonna with the middle piece. Make sure everything is straight. Alright, that roof, I do believe, is all framed out, ready for some panels. Scotch tape is garbage, but it does seem to be doing the job for now. I'm trying to find a different brand or a different company that makes this stuff, because that's just junk. Probably gonna have a few marks on that window, but I'm not too worried about it. Like I said before, I'm going to look into replacing these at some point, or we'll see what Safelite can do for fixing these up. Just got a couple cracks, a couple rock chips on each window, or one on each window. I'm not too worried about it. I definitely don't need any of this pitting that happens to my GoPros. But if it does, oh well. Kind of gives it a slight Class C look with that overhang. I like it. It's weird, but it works. That gives me a bunch of room up in there too to maybe install some ham radio stuff or other electronic devices. I have measured and cut a 93 3/4 inch long by 14.5 inch wide piece of sheet, and I'm going to trace this curve onto it and cut that, and then that should give me the shape I need to fill in that bottom space above the window there. I should be doing this on a piece of cardboard so I don't waste any metal, but I'm not seeing anything around here that's big enough or not destroyed from moisture. Could take a few pieces together and make that work. I actually need two pieces instead of one big piece. It's going to be two sections. They're going to meet here at the middle where I put in a little brace there. Got the corners lined up. And then we're just going to go around and trace on the inside, which will make this cut a little bit longer than it needs to be, I think. Or I'll just cut it on the outside edge of the line. I want a little, so you can always cut it smaller, but you can't cut it longer unless you make a whole new piece, which is a waste. So I want to go on the long side, and we'll trim it down a little bit if I need to. Kind of a hard thing to trace, that lumpy inside edge, but I used that big white marker pen. That gave me a pretty good line. Not a very good line though. I also did some more hunting and found me a big old piece of cardboard there, so before I cut, I'm gonna go ahead and try and make a cardboard template. Then I can set that up in there and make sure it fits before I cut. Because yeah, it's gonna be kind of hard to follow a line on that. Alright, there's a template I can cut out and make sure it fits. Got the thinking, and I do believe I can save myself some work instead of trying to match this curve so perfectly. I can just drop it in instead of trying to put it in from below, and then the curve doesn't have to be exact. Do something like this. Okay, so that it looks like that'll work out if I just cut on the outmost edge of this line there, and then I'll have to trim here and there. I don't know why the angles are so weird on this. So yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll get the jigsaw, we'll cut out this curve, and then we'll have we'll cut it in half, and then we'll have a couple pieces just pop to drop down in that bottom section of this forehead piece. Okay, I got the first piece measured and cut in half. Alright, that bottom piece is all welded on and it's done. Welded the top seam and welded the bottom seam so I can go along and grind it flat and make it look a little better. It's going to be a lot of work, so I'll probably just leave that for now. I also was going to go back through and weld the second bead over this seam that's up inside here against the window frame. Just to fill that in, make that look a little better, but I'm gonna skip that. I'll just gonna let the paint cover that up. It's got some blobs from where I filled in screw holes, or where there was still a screw stuck where I cut it off. So yeah, that would have looked a little better if I just filled it in going along, but I don't care. Mad Max vehicles don't care about prettiness. I'll still grind that flat eventually, but right now, let's ignore that. I'm really happy with that, however. Just done. It's just a weird tight spot to get up in there with the welder, and that took a long time. That was a lot of welding just for those two pieces. And next we can just got a couple more panels, and then the top part of the roof will be finished. Let's get that going. Let's get it done. And then we gotta figure out what to do about paint. This automotive stuff works pretty good. But I'm hearing it's porous, and on the top of the roof where water might sit for an extended period of time, that might be bad. This generator has been sitting out in the rain. This only recently got put on toward the last part of the rainy season, but it had been getting rained on, and this stuff holds up pretty good. You can see here, this is probably from me not prepping the metal. And you can see little spots of rust kind of getting through everywhere, and then you can see a bad spot where it didn't get prepped. There's probably a greasy handprint or something. I'd say 99% of this paint is looking pretty dang good over all these legs. Down here at the bottom where it gets a lot more water, it's not as good. But still, I'm confident that would hold off the any serious rust. Right now it's just a thin layer of surface rust from the moisture in the mornings. I planned on the rain. I did not plan on the morning moisture. It's getting cold at nights. Still like 75, 80 during the day, but it's getting cold at night and things are rusting. Final sheet has been tacked on. Finally. Now I just gotta stitch it up and then do the front piece. Ooh, Patches, I dare say you are starting to take shape. That front piece done, or that framed out anyway. I can start to see you now. I'm beginning to see you. Yes, yes. Not too bad. Thought this was gonna look a little weirder than it is right now, but that's, yeah, that works for me. Just kind of has that Class C look, a little bit, that overhang. finally, the roof and this front piece is done. Gonna weld it from behind in a few places just to give that a little more stability, rigidity. Yeah, I think we're out of gas. That'll be bottle number 2. $100 in gas so far. This thing is getting dirty. And a couple rusty spots too. We're gonna have to get out the grinder, or the wire wheel, and clean that up before I paint. But boy, look at that. That is cool. I like the way that's turning out. Yeah, got a little bit more space up in here than I used to. Put a CB up in here or something, a CB and a ham radio. Or just not worry about it, we'll just hang them. Actually, we'll probably have all the ham stuff at my desk. Alright, just gotta go around and weld all the seams, grind them down a little bit. I'm not too worried about them, making the seams flat. You already got some welds sticking up. I'll probably grind that too before I paint. Or I'll just primer it. Had a lot of people helping me out with the paint. Thank you so much for chiming in. I think I'm just going to go with some weldable primer. I'd like to paint all this stuff up, but obviously I still need to weld in some framework for the windows. I'll add some gussets here at some point. So I think weldable primer is a good idea. Maybe even etching primer for the, for the clean metal, since paint doesn't stick too well to a flat surface. Maybe we'll get some of that etching stuff, or I don't know. Still a lot of freaking options. I just want to paint it so it lasts the winter. It doesn't get all crazy rusty. I want to be able to. So we'll see what I come up with. Probably just some more primer, although I don't think that will be good for the roof, since water will probably collect in some places. I will tarp it up, of course, but I think water sitting on porous primer will eventually cause that to rust. Probably not the biggest deal if I get a tarp over it, but it's still going to, yeah, we still got to paint it. It will still collect moisture, humidity from humidity. Probably gonna have some bad spots on this window now. I guess it already had some cracks. Now I got some spatter marks. Oh well. This stuff sucks. I don't know what. Sharp Lines multi-surface number 2093. I'm gonna find something else. Yeah, 2 bottle. I could probably get a little more gas out of that. Do a couple more welds, but that's bottle number 2 gone. So next video, we'll weld up all the seams, wire brush the rust, and start doing some hit all the spots with the primer that are going to be going to hit all the rusty spots with the primer. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. I like it. This takes me all summer for a roof. Well, I guess it was framing too. And I'll see how much more I can get done. If we get everything painted and then tarped, and then I can untarp it when the weather's nice, get a few more things done, I'll keep plugging away at it. It's like it's rusting where I wiped off the oily stuff. guess. I was thinking some of the 100% silicone Tropicool, or just get some EPDM, pour it up here. Still need to add those solar panel mounts, so yeah, we'll probably just prime it so I can grind off and repaint when I add things or take things off. I can just run the vents down the back side here. I am not going to go with a back door as much as I want it. The main reason I wanted it was so I could put on extra long stuff and run it inside. But the back of the bed and the bottom of the bed and the bottom of the door aren't going to sit level, so anything I put back there is going to be kind of at an angle and hard to strap down. So it's, yeah, back door would be nice for a couple things, and it would be fun. Thought it'd be cool to get like a doorbell and a welcome mat or something. I don't know, it'd be kind of fun, but at this point it just needs to get done. And a side door, it just, you know, I don't know, I guess I still might change my mind on that, but back door isn't really necessary. I don't want to have to hop up into my bed and then hop into the you know, it just makes a little more sense having a side door. That way there's a driver door, and then we got a side door on both sides, which is nice when you're parked in the city and you need to get out onto the sidewalk. But I guess I can do that with the back door. The back door, you can get out and go either direction. I don't know, I still might do a back door. I like the idea better of just having this space saved for my air conditioner. We'll see. I think I'm going to yeah, back door would be cool. I can't do both, that takes up too much space. I don't want to do two doors. Alright, stay tuned for part number 2. We're going to finish welding up the seams, get it primed and painted, and so it stops rusting. That is the we are into the cooler. The mornings are getting quite cold, so it is about time to prep this for paint and stop this rust before it gets any worse. Okay, something else I need to get done, since I've been here for so long now, is put some additives in this gas. I was a little worried about pressure washing around these seals in there, so there may be slim chance I got a little moisture in there, so I got some of this heat, gas line antifreeze, and water remover. I don't know why you would need antifreeze for gasoline. Maybe in Alaska? I mean, I know you could use it for... I know diesel fuel will gel up. I don't think gasoline freezes. That's kind of weird. Helps prevent gas line freeze-ups. Helps prevent rust and corrosion. Use year-round to remove water from fuel system. Bottle treats 20 gallons of gas. I think I got maybe 30 to 40 in there. Half a tank. Let's go ahead and toss in 2 of these. Half a bottle of this. This does 80 gallons. Yeah, so 80 gallons. Will be half that. Let's go ahead and mix everything up in this 5-gallon. Let's pre-mix it. Whew, still smelling fresh. Let's keep it that way. Smells like diesel fuel. Okay, about 16 ounces there. Alright, there we go. Some fresh gas, some fresh additives. I'll add another 5 gallons once I get a trip to town, just to help mix things up in there, and then here soon I'll probably try and wire up the RV just so I can get that started and run some of that through the fuel line. Oh, what's it gonna look like? I'm so tempted to put that on just to see what it's gonna look like with that new forehead. But we're gonna have to wait. Gonna have to wait for the surprise. The surprise unveiling. Alright you guys, I just got back from an Ace Hardware. Spent $201 on some painting supplies. Got a little tray for one of these little rollers. Everything was super expensive there. I usually don't shop at Ace Hardware, but I heard they had the good selection of anti-rust paint. I didn't feel like making multiple trips to get to other things, so I just got everything there. Little roller, figured that'd be good for getting up in, you know, tight areas. It's cheaper than the bigger ones as well. The big old brush, that was like 20 bucks. Holy moly. 4-inch. Some acetone. Wipe down oily surfaces. For 60 bucks, I got a gallon of this Exo Rust. Rust preventative enamel. It's oil-based. Gloss white for the roof. Hopefully that will be enough to do the whole roof. I'm pretty certain it will. And I might not even use it. My main goal is to get everything primered. I don't think primer will, I don't think that roof will do well. I don't think that roof will do too well having just primer on it, especially if water ends up puddling in anywhere on that roof. I'll have it tarped, but I still think moisture is going to get up in there and eventually collect. So I don't know if primer only is a good idea, but I also got this Exo. Looks like the same company. There's 2 different styles to their design on this can. One is a truck, tractor, and equipment. They are both direct metal primers or paints. They didn't have any of this in the gallons. The paint was looking kind of scarce, so got the gloss for a final coat on the roof to help reflect heat. Enamel, oil-based. Direct to metal. So I guess I can actually paint it without primer? I don't know. There'll be some primer in the cans as well as the aerosol cans. So we got this for covering larger surfaces, like underneath the roof or on top of the roof. I'm not really sure yet what I'm doing with these. This is direct to metal, but I still think I should maybe use primer. Maybe that doesn't matter as long as I go over the whole thing with a wire brush. So, grab their last 2 cans of gray. Farm and tractor, truck and tractor. Direct to metal primer. Direct to metal primer, but not farm and tractor. 2 quarts of that stuff. Oil-based primer, as well as a couple of cans of this rust metal red, or whatever you want to call this. So 4 cans of primer, different colors, but that shouldn't matter. That's all they had. Okay, I think that should be enough to get me all painted up for the winter and keep things from rusting out too bad. I have used just standard automotive primer on like the frame for my generator, and that's holding out pretty good, but there are some spots where the rust is bleeding through. Which isn't too big a deal. I could just grind it off and repaint it, but I don't want to have to do that on my RV, so I don't know. We'll see what I can figure out here. You guys let me know what you think. Gonna prime everything. Aerosol cans for areas I might I'm still working in, or tight spots. I don't know, I might take some of this back, but yeah. So we got spray cans, spray primer in the can to be used with the brush or roller, and then some gloss stuff for the finished paint on the roof, since I hope to have that completely welded here soon.